Hey everyone, if there's a story that everyone loves and wants to see, it's an underdog story, where one critical aspect of it is the hard work they put behind it to make it to the top. And the guy in today's video definitely did, because some of you might know of Viper the rapper, who at one point in his multi-million career released an album every single day. So it's obvious to say that his mind in general is an oasis of ideas. But it doesn't stop there, because he even gave each album its own cover and name, which I feel like it's safe to say is on par in terms of quality. So his discography of over 1500 albums is interesting to listen to, but he has done other stuff than that, such as setting up a fake company to scam people out of their own money and sell merchandise as well, which 7 times out of 10 wouldn't be delivered or arrive in a good condition, while also being overpriced. Jokes aside, people have described him as being an important figure in the internet, citing him as the creator of Vaporwave. So despite how much of a bizarre character he is, I'm glad that there are people that sing about him once in a while.
Lee Carter, also known as Viper, is a rapper, real estate agent, scammer, drug addict, corset enthusiast, living meme, and alleged kidnapper. Viper was born in El Dorado,
all 9 of those things.
Arkansas,
What a guy.
7th, 1971. While I could not find much in regards to his childhood, his youth as well as time being a young adult were riddled with drug addiction and gang violence. The start
And worst of all, he only got one nipple pierced, so it looks very odd.
Written and directed by his brother, Viper was asked to make some music for the soundtrack.
I know it's the camera, but his head looks so beautifully bold and
this is where
smooth.
things really get crazy.
Chapter 1, music. I can tell it's gonna be an epic story when it has chapters in it.
Viper was involved in gang activity, admitting many times to his past selling drugs. Viper started out clean, just selling. But like so many before him, he eventually fell into being a user. Viper claims this began when he started
I know those towers. He can't show that.
control purposes.
I like how he's trying to like make it seem like he was a drug dealer, but in the back, in the green screen, he has footage of like Wall Street. Like he's trying to make it an impression that he was rich.
More fame. It didn't matter if he was reusing songs on multiple albums or even reusing album covers. Viper was dead set on creating as many rap albums as possible, eventually creating what many regard as his magnum opus, Yule Cowards Don't Even Smoke Crack, which would remain generally
Good name.
unknown
Also, he stole that
until
album cover.
2013. When someone uploaded the album to YouTube. 2013 was a very different time for the internet, where humor like this was at its peak. Because of
Don't tell me he made it unironically. I mean, like, don't tell me he made it like as a joke. If he made it ironic, like out of passion, that makes it way better. If it is a joke, that sucks.
By creating even more albums. 1 year making an album every single day. From what I've been able to gather, he has released over 1,500 albums, and not all of them are in one genre of music. Many consider Viper to be the godfather of what is now known as cloud rap, and some even proclaim him the creator of Vaporwave. I attribute this to the sheer amount of albums he has created. Let me just read you guys the names of some of my favorite Viper albums. Yourself, man. Cops Are Jealous Losers. The World. It Ain't Real. I Bend the Spoon with My Mind. My Piano Cake. Hustlin' Thick. They Hate Me 'Cause I'm Vaporwave. Shed Skin, which I particularly love because of the album cover art. Thug Rendition.
I love that one as well because it is about him getting a circumcision. I love how no matter how good AI is going to be, it will never get you this quality of these covers. I'm glad for that.
Personal favorite. E-Boy, I'll kill ya. All I Need Is That Money. Over half of these albums are part of a trilogy. Yes, there is a I Bend the Spoon with My Mind too, don't worry. One of the only things I find funnier than his album names are some of the album covers. The cover to his famous album, Yule Cowards, is actually another album cover that has just been cropped up close. The original album is called Southwest Hooligan.
To be fair, that is a golden picture. What's the point of taking a cover when that was good enough?
Is Viper's unique music video style, and I will play many of these throughout this video. Viper's music, even though the majority of it was bad, elevated him beyond the level of your average street-level rapper. It is what drew
Don't tell me someone made like a custom level in this music game just for him. What a waste of time.
They realized that stuff like Yol Cowards is the mere surface of his insanity.
To the shoe. Ford. I'm guessing that's gonna be like a one huge album that really put him on the map. Oh, I want to hear about that. I know there are people who are desperate to become big, like in the music industry, and try to make music like every day. But when you make an album every single day, as opposed to making like just very few out of quality, just pumping it out every single day, then I doubt each one's gonna be good. Also, even if you can like make each one like long and have their own tracks, what are the odds that you're gonna make one that's actually good enough to make someone become a fan of yours? I really hope this guy plays a sample because I want to know what it sounds like, because that will already be like a good taste for what probably like thousands of his albums are. I'm sure he's made a couple, not a couple but a lot, because I'm sure he stayed disciplined and made for quite a while.
Rap album every day of the year for a whole year straight, unless they have some kind of chemical assistance. But it's not just the music. His psychosis will manifest in many different ways. One example being the Great Reset. Back in 2020, for months, Viper was going on and on about how the world was going to end in an event called the Great Reset, declaring that June 19th, 2027 would be the last day of humanity. I cannot stress...
I would trust anyone who says that with Mario Kart 64 footage in the background. I would give them all of my money just to support this cause.
Impending doomsday has got nothing on what we're about to talk about. If you saw the title of this section of the video, you're probably asking yourself, what is a thawd? In technical terms, a thawd is simply a woman's corset, which Viper enthusiastically wears in his daily life.
Okay,
but Viper doesn't call them...
This is so annoying. He's like changed age groups like 5 different times. Like right now he looks like a baby, like at best 12 years old. But then the footage before that was him looking like with a grey beard, looking like he was 80. I really want to know how old he is and what magic he has to switch ages this quick.
The Ordinance of Death. Truth be told, I have absolutely no idea what
and now he looks more like 30 or 40.
Behind why Viper does this. He claims the Thawds absolve him of his sins and help him transcend evil. These are his...
That's what we say, helps him transcend, actually.
To wear more and more corsets in his daily life is well documented as the Thawd Wars. Viper could
that explains why he said in the beginning a corset enthusiast. I thought he meant like a car. Duh.
So Viper would often double, sometimes even triple up on these things. It is well documented that this caused Viper extreme discomfort and sometimes even pain. His goal throughout this was to defeat one Thawd and add another. To defeat a woman's corset, all you have to do is be able to wear it around everywhere at all times. This becomes progressively harder as you add on more Thawds. And Viper would often...
I just imagine he takes out like one of those girls on Instagram that has like an incredibly thin waist, but in exchange, his organs are all f***ed up.
Starting over at what he called Life Plateau 1. Viper considered these corsets as an almost spiritual item. He felt pride in wearing multiple, and he felt shame in taking them off. Viper would describe the addition of these corsets as a life plateau or a life journey. Viper would reach his next life plateau with the addition of another corset. And in his mind, by taking these things off, despite the fact that they caused him pain, was the equivalent of starting his life journey back at 0. 3 corsets equals life plateau / life journey level 3. No corsets equals life plateau level 0. I have run
Surely there's a better metric. There's a better metric system to measure like how well you're doing in life.
tweets.
Like making an album every single day, that's better.
The thought caused him to go lightheaded, stating that he almost got into a nasty accident before pulling over and adjusting them. Another time that the Ordinance of Death really impacted Viper's life was during his real estate agent exam, where under the immense pressure of 3 thoughts...
No way, this guy sold a family a house.
Not shy about sharing the struggles and tribulations behind daily thought usage. Viper's Twitter is a treasure trove of unhinged delusion, and I would be doing you a disservice if I didn't read you just a couple of thawed tweets. What I'm about to read you will be a series of tweets in chronological order, detailing probably the most infamous of the thawed wars. Day 0. I have fallen back 1 day on my first journey. I mind to start day 1 tonight and add thawed in my sleep. Tomorrow I will wake up day 1.
That's like a journal entry you would see like in a concentration camp from like a Jewish Holocaust survivor.
He's starting over by sleeping with one on tonight, which I missed that previously. He sleeps with these things on all the time. When he says tomorrow I'll wake up day 1 J1, he means day 1.
Please tell me he takes it off when showering. No, even if that would be too shameful. I have to admit that would be quite a burden.
I make my attempt to wear it 15 days straight. On 5-16, I order a third thawed in preparation for my final journey, J3I, and 2,
oh my God.
a possible death.
My brain just like short-circuited. There's no good grammar in this. I legitimately couldn't understand if that was like actual English on screen. It made no sense.
He's putting on his second thawed, and he's gonna wear it 15 days straight before adding the third, which he says can result in possible death. Day 1-J2. It is time to be real. Thawed possesses a power that I have yet to control. When it hurts, I put it on my pelvis, and recently I haven't worn it at night. Translation: that second thawed is really chafed.
Does it hurt that much I can't even type correctly?
Very typical from Viper during a thawed war. But it is the next tweet that I'm about to read you that cements this thawed war as the greatest. D2J2. I have a bad case of pneumonia. I feel like Darth Vader when his limbs were disemboweled. My resolve has never been greater. Long live the Sith. Through sheer dedication and force of will, he managed to wear the Ordinance of Death for so long that he caught pneumonia. Now, I'm not a doctor or anything, but putting massive pressure on your lungs and also smoking what Viper does is the perfect recipe for pneumonia. To summarize this section, a thawed is a woman's corset.
He wears so much that if someone tried to shoot him, it would be so like concentrated that it would be tough enough to stop a bullet.
I think it's safe to say that Viper's love of thawed is only rivaled by the title of our next section.
Chapter 3, Fraud. Oh my God. You're telling me this guy that flexes so much money and has really cringy music videos doesn't make money legitimately? What? I really want to see this because I want to know what other talent does he have, like hidden away, apart from making good music, that also like makes him really good at stealing money. This might be like the main career section of the video, because I'm sure him making all that music, an album every single day, was probably like a hobby that he did in his free time. So of course he has to have one job that allows him to pay for the bills, you know, buy food and buy all those corsets that he probably bought like more than 4 or the more that he wore, because I'm sure at least one of them has broken. There's no way you can wear one every single day and not have a snap, surely, unless he buys like $100 quality ones.
Goes back quite a ways. But first, I would like to describe the fan side of it. You see, Viper has a cult following. Before these allegations, they were pretty united in a general love for Viper's music. Some people out there claim if you listen to the right Viper albums, they're actually pretty good. Having such a devout fan base,
let me spend 40 hours listening to every song of his, and I'll see if I'm a fan of his.
In the community, $49, family. Viper will price almost everything at $49. $50 is simply too much, and anybody who messages Viper will quickly be referred to as family by him. I can't even count how many times he has told a fan that they're like.
I really want to say he looks a little bit
And this
Vin
is after knowing
Diesel.
them for like 5 minutes. And I don't think Viper does this for the sake of the fans, because it seems like more often than not, people will order albums or pieces of merch from Viper that they will never receive. When I was researching the Viper subreddit, which I will have linked down in the description below, excellent source of information, I came across numerous posts of people asking if they would ever receive their Viper merch. To a longtime fan of Viper,
I imagine it's probably really overpriced, so if you are willing to spend that much money, you probably deserve not having it being mailed to you.
And when you do receive something, sometimes it's not even what you asked for. Viper would rip his vinyl album covers in half and sell the front and back separately. But don't worry, it's not too much. It's just $49, family. Despite all of this, Viper's cult following...
I hope I had enough money to pay for that.
They had been scammed. In a way, it added to the charm of the whole experience. This was a completely different story when Viper started scamming live shows. For years now, Viper has been doing live
What venue would host
for
them?
his listeners, and many of them have gone off without a hitch. Viper will do a 30 to 45 minute set, disappear for a little while to not be a coward, and then he comes back to chill with the fans. This was a big deal for a
I'm
lot
sure
of
you do it longer. He seems like one of those guys that has like crackhead energy that can sing for 9 hours straight.
showing up to him. Tickets were still being sold, Viper was still making money, but he would no longer show up to his scheduled live performances. Another notable scam that he tried to pull on his audience took place during the Houston flood. Viper's entire family had evacuated, but he decided to stay behind. For what purpose, I'm sure you can draw your own conclusions, but Viper told the internet that him, as well as his whole family, were starving because of the flood. And if they could just buy some albums, it would really help him out. But if you think him ripping people off is just...
Could you not eat the albums, Viper?
Dead wrong. Because we are about to get into what I consider to be his most interesting scam. That would be Free Movers LLC. Free Movers LLC is a company founded by Lee Carter. I've been told that its initial premise was to move people Lee was a real estate agent for free. As I've stated previously,
Right, you deserve to have your liver removed if you trust a company called Free Movers
This
Ltd.
amenity would gather him a lot of business. What Free Movers became was far from what Viper had initially stated. This company would charge businesses that they hadn't even worked with. They would take money for jobs and not even show up. And when they did, it was somehow even worse. Lee's employees were described as dirty and smelling of alcohol, and all they had for equipment was a rusty truck. Despite all
Okay,
of
well, there's no need to be racist, come on.
still tried to list the company on the stock market, making claims of extreme growth potential, trying to create billions of shares right off the bat. He was
I would dump so much money into that.
threatened to sue the United States Securities Exchange Commission for the crime of them not listing his fraudulent company. If you need further proof that Free Movers LLC is not legit, then take a look at their phone systems. You can call Free Movers LLC for hours and you will never get an answer. Just this voicemail
Right now.
recording of Viper.
Hello, you've reached Free Movers Realty and freemovers.com, where we help you find your new home or list your new home and move you to your new home absolutely free or at the guaranteed lowest price in town.
Lowest price of $2,000.
And message at the sound of tone, and we will contact you back shortly. Thank you for reaching out to Free Movers Realty and freemovers.com. Goodbye.
From 49
If this video doesn't end with him saying that there's a link to his cameo that you can go pay for to have him like voice act in a game, then this video will be dope.
albums that never show up, to moving companies charging businesses they didn't even work for. Viper has a very interesting history of fraud. And like most other topics in this video, this is just merely scratching the surface. His history
I guess that
of
really is fraud. I had way too much hope for him to actually have some somewhat a little bit organized like system to steal money, but I guess that really is like the most basic form of fraud.
Criminal behavior goes back decades now, and it would be considered one of his worst attributes. At least that was until the recent allegations, which not only brought Viper to my attention, but to so many others as well.
Oh boy. Allegations? Wait, what's that mugshot doing in the background? Hold on a second.
Allegations of kidnapping. I want to show you a series of texts that are now infamous in the Viper universe. A couple years ago, someone catfishing as a 17-year-old girl contacted Viper through text. I am going to read you a couple of snippets from this text chain. I'm sure I will have to censor some of it because it is extremely graphic, and I'm showing you this because I want you to know just what kind of morals Lee Carter has. Dear Viper, I'm your biggest fan. I just wanted to thank you for the inspiration you've given me. I've always wanted to see you live. If you ever do a concert, I will fly to it. Kelly. Thanks. What grade you in?
I wanted you to take a bet on like what he's gonna say next. That's already like way more tame than what I was gonna
what
call out.
What town you in? I am now going into my last year of high school. I live in Kansas City, Missouri. Viper responds, Are you a girl? And if so, can you send a picture? Kelly sends the picture.
Jesus,
OMG, you're
so
adorable.
direct.
Please don't tell me you have a boyfriend. Nope, I've never dated anyone. No one has ever inspired me enough. Lee responds, Are you a virgin? This goes back and forth for a while until Carter responds, I'd love to spend time with you too. And
I feel like, actually, I'm not sure if he said if she was like an actual fan or if she was like a setup. If she was a setup, then that was probably like the quickest way to like catch a predator. Like even Chris Hansen would be envious of that. But in the off chance that it was an actual fan, that must be like earth-shattering to have someone you look up to say that out of nowhere.
Meanwhile, let's make a pact to talk at least every other day and be boyfriend and girlfriend, but you can still go to prom, LOL, so I don't lose you before it's time to set up your colleges. Deal? The catfishing troll then acts like the phone was snatched by this girl's father, and responds with a long, angry message proclaiming that his daughter is...
Oh, please tell me he responds being like,
Viper's
can I f*** you too?
would go down as an infamous meme in the community. 17 is legal, pops. This was the only instance I was able to find evidence with, but I've heard rumors around the Viper community that this has happened more than once. But as I said previously...
Well, if you don't have receipts, then it never happened, did it?
Let's get into the recent allegations, the reason most of you are here. On January 8th, 2024, news broke that Viper had been arrested for a...
That's actually this year. It's only the 21st right now.
April of 2023, police had responded to a phone call at Viper's house. In the garage, they found a woman weighing about 70 pounds, a mattress covered in fresh vomit, and a makeshift toilet that didn't flush. The woman claimed that Viper had her locked up for the past 5 years. She stated that 5 years ago, she was homeless and pregnant. One day, while she was begging for money, Carter approached her in his vehicle, offering her $1. She claims he then offered her help, and when she got into his car, he took her home to his garage, where he kidnapped her, keeping her there for the next 5 years, feeding her only chips and snack foods, forcing her to take drugs, and other horrible things that I cannot mention here. I say allegedly before all of this because the court case is still ongoing. And the crazy...
Right, I'm gonna protect myself from both directions. If it is real, what a quick 180 going from like him being like a creep to a 17-year-old to him being like some guy. Like he sounds like that guy from Don't Look, whatever, Don't Blink. That movie where like the blind guy killed teenagers that like tried to rob his house and they find out like he has a woman trapped in his basement. But then on the other hand, if it's not true, then I feel like there would have been like some news article that would have come out way before showing, like proving that it was real, as opposed to people like on a subreddit saying that it did happen. So I want to see like what he says next, like if there was any more evidence posted, just say if it was true or false.
To support that he is innocent and that he is guilty. I have my own theories on what happened, but I will save that till the end. First, I will read you some of the stuff I found that supports the theory he is guilty. First and foremost being a claim made by his neighbor. During a conversation with his neighbor, supposedly Viper made claims about where he kept women locked up, pointing at the garage, stating that the women were ungrateful, always requesting more food and drugs. The neighbor claims he had long suspected human trafficking or some kind of adult video racket, but he said that he figured the police would come to investigate soon enough. Another piece of evidence would be the overwhelming amount of rap lyrics where Viper has alluded to this type of behavior. Granted, the man has made over 1,500 albums, so I'm sure he said all kinds of stuff along the way. Now I'm gonna read you some details.
Yes, yeah, but even then, if you make a song every day, like, there would be like bits and pieces of your actual life spread on the songs.
Like this wouldn't be a halfway decent video if I didn't at least include the facts that make this a little bit of a murky case. The first one I want to talk about is the length of time Viper has even owned that property. From what I've been able to gather, he hasn't owned this house more than 2 years, with his victim claiming that she was locked up for 5. Viper could have, of course, moved her in that time, or her sense of time could be skewed from being locked in a garage for a whole year. Second would be the date that the call was made. This woman was found back in April of 2023. Viper wasn't arrested until January 2024, an extremely long period of time for a man who has allegedly committed these kinds of crimes to be roaming the streets. Then again, we could just...
I saw when he said an allegation, like it wasn't proven for real that there was a woman kidnapped and found in his basement. But now that he said that the woman like made a call, then I'm guessing there was. So I'm guessing it's more of a case to prove whether or not like she was kidnapped by him, like he himself.
Chalk this up to red tape or bad police work. This next bit of information I find most fascinating, but at the same time, it has the most room for being a lie. You see, Viper has a wife, and someone got in contact with this wife to see what she thought of the whole situation. She claimed that it was all fake, that Viper had known this woman for years, hell, they'd even had a kid together that was taken away by the state. She also claimed that this was not the first time this woman had called the police on Viper, and that apparently this whole dispute was over Viper not giving her drugs. Like I said, this has the most room to be a lie, but if Viper were somehow innocent, I would see this being the case. Drugs can make people absolutely insane. I mean, Viper is walking around in his daily life with 3 women's corsets on. It is not out of the realm of possibility that this could just be a dispute between drug addicts. Do I believe that to be the case?
Also, what was going on with that truck in the background? Flip.
Disturbing was going on there, but I don't think that we have the whole truth. At least not yet. Because it seems like new stuff about this case and Viper is coming out all the time. A couple days after all the information about the alleged kidnapping had come out, another news story broke of a dead body being found in the very same house. 2 months later, the body of a 61-year-old woman would be found in the very same garage that the woman had been rescued from. Police did an autopsy and ruled that this was not a homicide. The 61-year-old woman had died due to complications from alcohol abuse and hepatitis C, internal bleeding being the cause of death. In the wake of this news...
So then why are people like grouping it to him, saying like because he said it was found in the same garage? Maybe then.
2 very separate incidents, and that the alleged victim of the kidnapping was in good health, safe, with the dead body being completely unrelated to the kidnapping and ruled a natural death. Lee will not face any charges for it. But he is in an ongoing legal battle over the kidnapping case. Mr. Carter has pled not guilty, and the defense attorney put out a statement stating that Carter and the alleged victim were not only in a romantic relationship, but they also had a child together. That this was not a kidnapping, just a simple domestic dispute. After doing all this research, I really don't know what to believe. Viper has proven in the past that he has the capacity to commit some absolutely heinous crimes. The messages with the catfish alone make him a not-so-good guy.
I love how he's saying this stuff like just like horrible stuff he has done to other women, and he's just dancing in the background.
Even if Viper is innocent of this crime, he is not a good guy. Do I think exactly what the victim claimed happened? No. But do I also believe that something didn't happen? Hell no. We are talking about a man who wears women's corsets to absolve him of his sins. Crazy people like this are really capable of anything. That's all I have on Viper today, guys. I cannot tell you how wild of a ride researching all this was.
You know what it probably was? The one part I don't feel like I agree with completely is him saying like he wears corsets, so it wouldn't be that far out of the field for him to kidnap a woman. I can see somewhat where he's coming from, but at the same time, I think it's very weird to be like, where he does this in his own like private life. It's not private because he talks about it on Twitter, but he does this as like a point of pride. Oh, he's definitely crazy enough to kidnap a woman, definitely. I think everyone has their own, little like weird fetish or hobby that they like doing privately, and he's one of those rare people that loves to post about it and act like it's part of like his discipline to get rid of his sins, Even though the first half of this video was really weird with like the music part, his music career, I guess you could call it that. That last part was like such a weird mess because it was allegations, but like there was such little evidence that really could be like a made-up story. And he did bring up Reddit a lot, and to be honest, I hate that side because I like wholeheartedly believe that there were definitely people who made up lies purely because they wanted to, or because they just like found a small bit of evidence that could have like maybe led to that statement being true, but they kept on building on it, and it acted like it was like strong physical evidence that he did so. The only legitimate thing he brought up was like a statement from the court, and even there was more like about how it was a domestic abuse situation rather than a kidnapping, which in my mind is like a strong answer to like, no, he didn't kidnap a woman. But there are definitely people in the subreddit that were like, we're not sure yet, he might have. There was still like a small chance that he did it, even though there is none, and the only fuel they have on this like investigation of theirs is like just some few allegations made by people that they themselves barely have any evidence to support. But let's say best case scenario, this guy was some weirdo that made like 1,500 songs or albums in like a span of in the span of his career, and wore corset as like a point of pride. And then the worst case scenario would be like he kept a woman locked up in a garage for 5 years and only fed her chips and drugs. Like it's one of those stories that you like the first time you hear it or watch it, you have to like sit down and like try to sort out this mess that just went into your ear because it's like so convoluted in a way, it doesn't make any sense.